about a level where something of the so-called you in you achieving the power of doing, giving an intent, uh, uh, as an intent without any trace of words. Okay. So, which likely to be the first one, where the system may have, because that doing was done not by the you. I mean the so-called person you. The person you followed my instruction and maybe looked around and all that, but the entire activity was performed not by that you who looked around. Do you get the point?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Rather, you can look at the painting before you, but the seeing is done by the eyes.
Yeah.
The data was processed by the occipital lobe of the brain.
Mm-hmm.
And the resultant perception is given as an illusion to the so-called human self. Okay?
Right.
We are
Right.
trying to transcend the human self. Understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. These are not things to be discussed even publicly. And it is not yet the right time to discuss about all these things. Because even now, when I said that you just comprehended, that is all. In the
Mm-hmm.
sense that because your attention just cannot go and touch what I just told you. But you comprehended the language, no doubt about that. You comprehended it much, much better than maybe anybody else because of the concepts and everything else, no doubt about that. But as I told you all the time, I will not say. I am proceeding from where I stopped. I do not know where you are stopped.
Mm-hmm.
The English language I talk, you can comprehend. Maybe somebody who has not been here also will be able to comprehend that English language and its meaning and implication. You have to see the referent of what I am talking. So, out of these words, which one your system, that so-called nervous system might, because you know, just I don't know, maybe computer programmers Ramesh and Nitya may understand it perhaps much better. Maybe I know also. Maybe every one of you, because the program has to start somewhere. Okay, you heard the instruction that you look around and look. I'm sorry, you look at the three things around you, and you did something. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then I tell you, tell me what did you do? From that point onwards, okay, like Anuradha said, you attention into that statement. Then Priya said, okay, attention into keywords to do, then look, what you call around, and what. Okay. So now my question is, do you understand what I'm doing? I'm trying to connect your normal consciousness, so-called normal consciousness. You cannot be in non-normal consciousness. You are not living like I am living. You are all living in a very mechanical, regimented environment. Okay?
Right.
Yeah. So, to that kind of an awareness, I want to bring much more power, much more close linkages with attention.
Mm-hmm.
That you have to try within you. That's what I'm doing. In this process, I anticipate that after the end of this 2 hour, whatever session, your sensitivity will become little more doubled, which will reflect later. And I anticipate some consequences
Mm-hmm.
because we are fooling around with the most powerful engine of the human entity. Now your attentions are completely under the chain control of your normal, ordinary consciousness. We are talking about a point where you are trying to just dismantle that little bit, remove one or two screws and try to see what it is. Get the point, Naveen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sir.
It's all right. So come on. Which one? I don't know whether you are getting the question. Let us say a neuronal circuit like computer program. There's a start point. Ramesh would be able to explain it very beautifully, but we don't need that. Okay. So let us say 10 neurons are involved in that function of looking around. It must start at a time zero, at a time somewhere. Get the point?
Mm-hmm.
So Anuradha said it started at what you call focusing attention on the entire sentence. Then Meenakshi said, then very quickly in nanosecond speed, then the key words in the instructions were
Switch slide.
let us say attention went to, or that energy field, that second, third neuronal firings on those kind of sentences. So if these neurons are representing the sentences, sorry, words in that sentence,
Mm-hmm.
which one word would have been linked by the neurons first? That's my question.
Doing.
Okay, doing. Any other opinion? Every one of
Looking.
you must think independently. Do
You.
not get influenced.
Looking.
Do not get influenced or impressed, or do not allow your attention to be affected by the response of somebody in the group. Every one of you must think independently. All right. Even though everyone would come with the same answer. All right. Okay. Yes.
You.
You. All right. Who is telling Anu?
Yes.
And then
Looking at.
Translating the language.
translating the language is done. Translating the language into what? Action. Yeah, that is what, of course, that's what I'm asking. That translation of that language into action, which I have told you, it is a puzzle even for me now, even after decades of my reflection on that. That is, at what point the language is translated into action? Because action is done by the flesh, blood, bone, neuronal system structure, which you don't even feel now. You're all biased by the dress you wear and the identity you are wearing and your current consciousness. That's a major block. So having so many blocks, you have to try all these things. Okay. So that is true, Nitya. That it is translated and brain has started operating. All right.
Yes.
So these are all neurons. Okay. So these neurons must be translating what you said, this instruction. What did you do to look at three things around you? Okay. Keep it straight. Do not reinterpret it, because the system do not reinterpret it. At time zero, time one, you interpret it. The system heard only these sentences, these words uttered by me. No doubt about that. All further interpretations quickly were done by that educated ego of you. The instruction was very clear. Now, come on. So,
Shifting.
instantly there was a quick scan of the whole sentence, like Anu said. That must be there. Otherwise, it is not possible.
Yes.
All right.
And then shifting the attention.
Quick scan is done, Anuradha. That is why it is translated into action at the neuronal level. Okay. But that also happened at the neuronal level. No doubt. Nothing is possible for any organism without the cooperation of the neuronal process. Whether it's an amoeba or an earthworm or a bird or a lion or a superhuman entity. Okay. So, if what you do look, so many keywords. Keywords meaning, what is keyword here now? What is a keyword here now? From the what you call the vantage point of attention. What is a keyword? What do we name as a keyword?
A significant point that directs the attention.
Yeah. No. That directs. Oh, that directs a neuronal process.
Ah.
All right. That is our language here. So In which case, correct. In which case, what could be the sequence of when considering the keywords in order to do what is translated by the language into the doing? First of all, are you clearly following me what I'm talking? Yeah.
In the sequence in which it is heard.
That is, of course, I know. But the doing is not done in the sequence of the words you
No.
heard.
No,
Correct?
no.
Mhm.
That is very right. So thing is going near that. But in order to do that doing, what would be the sequence?
An intent is created when
Now you are
indirectly.
going beyond intent is created. Actually, what is the doing here?
Looking at three
Looking
things.
at. So Mantra Rishika said that. Look.
Yeah.
I don't know. Mantra Rishika, you said that is the first word. Huh?
Right, sir. She said.
All right. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, in order to do that doing, you may have to add, there are extra neurons to function. I am telling something very extremely critical, because why it is critical is because when you do this, the consequences are at a different level. That is a different issue. Now, you heard, no, what?
Mhm.
The final, I told you to do something.
Yeah.
That you did.
Mhm.
Now, in order to answer to this question, okay?
Mhm.
Okay.
What did you do?
So,
With the
now
three
this word, now mantra said to look, okay?
Yeah.
In order to do this critical act, because now we have to use extra words like Meenakshi said, significant, whatever it is. In order to, in this word or this sound, look, it's a very familiar word, over years or decades of training,
Mhm.
okay? So look here, the baby looks actually not by understanding the meaning of the word look here,
Right.
okay?
Mm.
Let us say the baby is playing and baby is located in a backward direction. The mother comes from the kitchen and mother says, look here. The baby turns back. Mother thinks that the baby understood look here. Actually, baby turned back because of the sound.
Voice.
Yeah, the voice. Now, of course, within some time it will learn. Now, anyway, I am telling you, you will do something which was not told here. Can you say what it is? I said, what did you do to look at three things? Okay?
Mhm.
So, in the doing of it, rather the instruction was, now the instruction,
Mhm.
look at three things
Mhm.
around you and report what you did, right?
Yes.
And after some time, I asked you this question. All right. Now, can you say what you are trying to do? Anyway, we cannot stop time in a frame, like a pause.
And then go look at it again. True.
So you have to keep it in pause, continuously reflecting on these frames of the film of we are talking about. All right.
Mhm.
When you are answering to this question, what are you trying to do?
Reflecting on the experience.
Reflecting or recollecting. Okay.
Yes.
Do not reflect. Then we will have other meanings for reflection for
Yeah.
us. You are just recollecting as
Recollect.
precisely as possible, as
Hmm.
sharply as possible. Sharply, that meaning without corrupting the boundaries of your activity. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
okay.
Hmm.
You see what I mean? When I look at this building from 3 feet distance, you will not only see the building, you will see some things around also.
Mm.
Yeah, I was going to say
But
that.
Yes.
without that, can you look at the building?
No.
No.
Sorry, leave it. I just asked a question. Now, when you report, okay,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
report only the building. You should not say there was a tree around, etc., etc.
That's it.
Yeah.
Similarly, you precisely report the building you saw. You have to
Mm-hmm.
report what you did when you did whatever you did.
Hmm.
So
And
we
you
are.
said you looked at. So
Mm.
in that execution, or like Nitya said, in your process of translating this English words or this language which you comprehended easily to the doing of it, okay, you had
Mm-hmm.
to incorporate, you had to bring in several other doings which are not part of the instruction. Get the question?
Right.
Yes, that is
Yeah. Yes, sir.
that
Yeah.
is filtering, omitting things which are not
Yeah.
asked for.
Let us look at the word mantra. Rishika said, look, what
Hmm.
are the extra things you had to do?
Um,
Focus.
Shifting the focus of attention from one to another.
That is not a referent reality linkaged language. That is, of course, an answer. You have to
Open your eyes.
report using the correct words of the zero orbit.
Okay.
Because when you say you focused, I can ask you, how did you focus?
Mm.
Now you have to report it in such a way that I should not be asking a question back. What is that?
Hmm.
So
Um,
I am going little conveniently for you. Let us say, look is the significant pointer.
Okay.
Rather like Nitya said, there must have been a split nanosecond intended to do, because to the body, very important point you understand. To the body, you are only giving intents. Because the body cannot understand English language, Tamil language, Latin language, Hebrew language, Sanskrit language.
Hmm.
Body
Remember,
doesn't.
sometime back we said you have to give an intent so that your rose plant comes back, not a language, because the language
Hmm.
cannot reach him.
Hmm.
Similarly, you cannot talk to your body a language. You are just giving
Hmm.
a momentary intent and it is quickly done. Because you cannot directly talk to your hand, talk to your head. Get the point?
Hmm.
mm.
Now, that is, we are given blessing to the body anyway, let us say so.
Hmm.
Now, if you make a quick variation of our focus, your body parts are not linked to your intent. Yet, you are able to have supreme control on your body parts as revealed as by of a sharp shooter or a great musician or a painter or a playback, music instrument playback, whatever,
Hmm.
then why not, why that intent is not cutting across the limits of that flesh, skin, bone structure and proceed beyond and go to that rose flower and push it here? Because
Hmm.
your body is taken as something solidly separate from the elemental energy field outside.
Yeah.
Rather, your attention is not trained to go beyond the boundaries of the skin of your fingers. That is why.
Hmm. Yes.
See, braille reading.
Hmm.
Yeah. To what extent just the skin tips of the fingers can be trained? I was so bewildered when I visited a tire factory. Huge truck tires, which we cannot even lift, that much of rubber is there, and there should not be what you call an air blank, an air bubble inside a tire. If there is a single air bubble of 0.1 mm size, the tire may burst. So there should be a quality check, and that quality check is done just by the palm of the hand. Yeah, the tire is just rotating slowly, and they just feel the outer tread of the huge tire, and they say they can feel if there is a 1 millimeter air bubble inside that. Right now, you can go and visit any tire factory. Maybe modern electronic equipment, laser beam and all could be there. How is it ever possible? And I want you to have that power, not to feel the air bubble of the tires, but to feel even the very visible things outside there. All right, come on. These are all sales stack introducing the process, the engine of attention in between. While we are analyzing the case study of this particular event and the guideline and whatever we are discussing. Look at three things, okay? So you give an intent to look. How did you do that? You have done that looking. Just can you tell in precise words what you did?
Open my eyes.
Okay, yeah, well, simple. Wow, opened your eyes, okay?
Turn towards
Turned
different
your,
parts of the room.
turned your neck.
Yeah,
Very
and
precise.
yeah,
Sorry,
turn the
rather
neck.
turned your head towards that
Yes,
and
directed the attention to those.
no,
Look,
directed
saw
your
those.
eyes
Yeah, eyes to those.
to that object.
Yes.
This much were not told to you, but
We,
this much extra neurons operated inside you, without which how can you do that? Very simple.
yes.
Remember the fundamental principle. Every millisecond of the you is completely coordinated, governed, linkaged with the neuronal firing. Yeah. When the neuronal firings are stopped, it is not even a dead body. Even in a dead body, the neurons will continue to firing at least for another 18, 26, 32, 48 hours, depending upon the integrity of the body.
Oh.
Unless it is kept in ice and all that. And if it is not, that is the modern people do that. They cannot tolerate the peripheral parts decaying and smelling. The peripheral parts only decaying. Decaying will take another maximum 48 hours to reach the interior part, especially to the brain. All right. So what? What I am talking? Okay, that brain.
The neuronal firing.
Neuronal firing. So, in other words, when you are doing a relative, very simple act of just turning your head to do something, there are neuronal firings, and that was not a part of the original neuronal network of translating that instruction. I am coming to an important point. I am analyzing the case. Get the point, Minashi?
No, I didn't understand this part.
For
The last
we will go with what Anuradha said. That entire English sentence is processed, okay? Or like what Nitya said. That's English words, what you call, look at three things. Word translated, let us say, 100 neurons there. Okay. Then another 100 neurons to so-called coordinating the motor. Motor meaning movement. Rather it is called the psychomotor movement because it is moving by the intent, will, or the desire, or the plan, or the activity, conscious activity of the person. Such movements are called psychomotor activities, is a called a term in psychology. So then, parallelly, it commanded, like the human resources manager bringing another 100 people, it instantly pulled in
Yes.
linkages of another orbit of neurons in order to do whatever is translated, Nitya.
Mm-hmm.
Get the
Yeah.
point now.
Yes, sir.
Mandra,
Yes.
yeah. Vinay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Master, if I could make an observation.
Yeah, now exactly I was about to ask you, what is your observation? Yeah.
When you asked for the sequence of activity, I said the sequence of activity after understanding the question was doing. And at that point, what I meant by doing was this multiple activities that were happening from the attention to the eyes to looking, because I found it very difficult
No, no.
to sequence.
When Meenakshi, you are now, why do you want to explain it? When you meant that, did you see all these points? You had a
I,
general meaning, that's all.
general meaning that multiple things enabled it.
You did not have the perception at that time that it would include turning the head, focusing the eyes, etc. You did not
So that
take that much of time to say that.
I
You meant,
compass.
and so you meant, that is again a general word. You meant, but did it include a clear referent perception of what you meant?
I condensed what I did into one word: doing.
No, no, that's very meaningless. No, no, no. That's only a statement of your educated mind. No, no, no. By that content it implies. But the question is, when you made that content, did you actually have the linkages with the reference of what I asked? Turning of the head, turning of the eyes, and all those specific doings have to be mentioned. If you just say, I made the statement doings, I meant that and all, are not acceptable. That is not correct. If you look back into that. All these things were, tell me were they there?
I did not have an opportunity to tell you that I looked, I turned, I saw. I did all
Why
of it.
didn't you say that then? No, now you say you meant it.
No, at that point I could not. I didn't have a chance to say that.
No, okay. My question is, when you said doing, you had
Hmm.
all these listed things under your focus of attention.
Yes, because before that I wanted to tell you that I turned and I saw.
Then why didn't you say that when I asked, what did you do to look at the thing? Nobody talked anything.
I'm thinking I cannot say everything.
No, my question right now is, right now we have crossed almost 25 minutes before which I asked the question. When we started, I said, you do this thing. After a gap of 10 minutes or 5 minutes, I said, now tell me, I used the word report. Report to me, what did you do to look at the three things? At that time, nobody talked anything. Therefore, I went to other topics. Okay. Now, you say, what is the second keyword? Because if looking alone was the keyword, then where will you look?
So the second keyword was around the room. So
Now, what is the second keyword?
around the room.
Around the room or on the table.
Yeah. So in my case, I looked around the room, and
It
then
was reasonable.
I
from looking around, I picked three things to look more.
I I'm sitting in the balcony, so I can see the beautiful moon. And I was thinking that doesn't come under the qualification around. So
So
I can't record that.
now you tell me, after all this is, what are your insights? What are your observations? This is the, now let us say tentatively the experiment part 1 is closed. Now make your observations. Or what are your learnings? What are the extra insights you got from this much of analysis and questioning back and forth? Make a minimum three insights or 3 lessons, or what to say, what called 3 principles or 3 extra ideas, or what can I say, 3 observations out of this experiment. 3 observations, every one of you.